I remember that case. I remember every single witness. I don't remember so much in other cases. We also got taken to all of the various execution sites because we were going to be prosecuting the case, so we needed to have in our minds, what these places look like. And it was fascinating. I remember one place, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was near a house where there'd been a mass execution, and somebody wandered up into some little woods about 30 metres, and in the woods there were ammunition cases. So they basically brought all of this ammunition down, set up a gun on a tripod, and literally just murdered people in rows and rows and rows. And they then just dumped these empty ammunition boxes up in the woods. I mean, I can't guarantee that it was connected, but I mean, it was in the middle of nowhere. I mean, why there would be empty ammunition boxes there? The cultural centre at Pilica, there was nobody killed. Now, I went into that building in 1999 with Jean-René Ruiz, and we went under the stage, and I tell you, it was horrible. There was congealed blood that had come down. So there was planking on the stage where there were concerts and things like that. It hadn't been opened for 4 years, that building. On the walls, there were craters from rounds from a heavy machine gun. I mean, you could tell. I mean, I was in the army, so I knew. I mean, that's the kind of shooting that you use to kill a lot of people very quickly. I mean, that was absolutely obvious that people had been murdered because the Serbs were saying, well, these are all combat casualties. These are all people that have been... But I mean, these were people that had their hands tied behind them and they were wearing blindfolds. I mean, not everybody, but many of them. I mean, there was one man that I mentioned on a stretcher, and even his decomposed body. He was probably a fighter, undoubtedly. He was a Muslim fighter. But he was, he was an injured combatant. That's not somebody that you take and shoot and then throw in a mass grave. Almost every skull that I saw, they had a gunshot wound to the back of the head. I mean, these were mass executions that were taking place. And I mean, the Serbs know that. Of course they know it, but I mean, they don't want to say. In Cambodia, you can have 1.8 million people that are murdered in the space of 3.5 years, and that's not a genocide. Well, it's not a genocide because they weren't targeted for reasons of nationality, ethnicity, religion. They weren't. They were targeted for political reasons. We knew that you needed to target a particular ethnic, national, racial, religious group. We had that. They were all Bosnian Muslims. We knew that. They had to be destroyed in whole or in part. Now, we knew that the whole population, all of the Bosniaks in Bosnia had not been killed at Srebrenica, but we did know, we did believe that the population, the Bosniak population of Srebrenica, even just the male population, not including the females, that was a part of the population. And we knew because of the structure of society there, it's a patriarchal society, where the women at that time were largely uneducated and relied exclusively on their husbands to support them and their families, that it would destroy the society. What we could show then is a very systematic form of killing. There was more system in what went on in Srebrenica than anywhere else in Bosnia. Now, I'm not saying that everywhere else in Bosnia it was unplanned, and I know that's not the OTP's case, it is that it was planned. But in Srebrenica, you really could see a lot of planning. How? Well, through the intercepts, the communications that were going on between superiors and subordinates within the Bosnian Serb army, identifying groups of prisoners in particular places and organising for these people to be taken to remote locations where they were subsequently killed. Certainly, I found Srebrenica very demanding case, very rewarding because it had been extremely well investigated by Jean-René Ruiz and his team, emotionally draining. But I think we did feel that we were pioneers, but I've often felt I felt some guilt in saying what a great job we did because of the victims.